Mage or priest? We did paladin already today. Somebody was wanting mage earlier. We could do a mage. I like mage in general. What about mage in corporal or private? Hmm? Priest for high wins? Well, my last priest went 0, so... I don't know about that. There are 2 other popular Twitch extensions for emotes. Franker Face and 7TV. Write that down. Are you shilling for Franker? Okay, we'll draft a good priest. Easier said than done. 3 middle-of-the-road classes. Chat draft. Technically, I'm trying to get on the Asia leaderboard, so... if we wanted to chat draft, we would have to go elsewhere. A little bit later this month, I might do some chat drafts. Once I'm not worrying about leaderboard stuff. And when we got the new set in. That could be fun. I'm not sure which of these is, like, better to practice for the new set. Maybe Priest, because of, like, dragon stuff. Alright, we'll do a Priest. Been avoiding it since it stung me, but we'll come back to the fold. Interesting first pick. My impulse would be Penance. Beaming Sidekick is really not bad, though. But I like the removal. These are both good. They put out the list of all cards in Next Arena on the Hearthstone website. Really? Now, they had said that there's gonna be an announcement tomorrow of the final cards. But maybe they just released them all regardless of that? Do you have a link for me? Can you link me up? I don't want to go looking for it right now. Probably Sneaky D. I think Bless is very strong for a lot of reasons. Oh yeah. Luminous God. Do we probe him or do we rage him? If that's true, I might do a mini set review later. Pretty similar win rates. The Hunter went 3, Bellstorm. I like Probe, it's a fun card. It would behoove us to take a 4, but I guess we'll have time for that. Entomb. We've got nice tools here so far. I don't want another two. I'm taking the Etten. Undying is excellent. That's a real comeback card. Holy Nova is fantastic right now. Return it to life with full health. Oh my god, Reclaimer on Undying Disciple? What? Only 3 with all that secret synergy? Imagine how far we could have gone with a Loot Hoarder. But like, actually though, we might have won a few more games. But the important part was we had fun with that 2-mana spell that did nothing. Which 4-drop do y'all want? Probably Bone Wraith for Priest, right? More Undying. I'll take all the Undying. Temporas? Yeah, Temporas! Najak and Tomb almost could be a combo, but you can't actually entomb your own stuff. I wonder why they make that distinction. You could Najak and then Power Infusion. Put it behind a Bone Wraith. We got ways to make this good. Less. You got a ringtone sort of like this? Snip snap, I was taking a bap. If you use Reclaimer on the thing you steal, does it get given back if Najak dies? No. Right? Chat? It wouldn't. I think that would flush it out, right? Yeah. Well, that's a good strat. I like that strat. Mist Temporis, Kekleo. Frost, I don't think we have that, or we'll get that. Egg's interesting. So we have Bless. Reclaimer. Infusion, Night Captain. So we have 4 synergies with the egg. I wonder if that's enough. Go ahead and post the link, Corey Davis. We are generally link friendly. No, Corey Davis, I think you're misunderstanding. So they weren't talking about putting Reclaimer on the Najak. They're talking about using Najak and then reclaiming the thing that you steal. So then it revives on your side of the board and it no longer is linked to the Najak, so you get to keep it. At least that's how it should work. Fishflinger is okay, it could give us a little bit of curve filling. I like the idea of the egg, and I like that it stealthily sets up for Night Captain as well. I think I'm actually gonna take the egg. Although Fishflinger gets us, like, different hero power stuff. We have 2 dupes. Egg as a backup for Reclaimer. Yeah, I think I actually like the egg. Maybe Ogremmancer is fine here since we haven't found many 5s. I'll take another Entomb. Probably want the 3 drop. Decent argument for Mole. But we need a 3, I think. This card does nasty work. Death Rattle minions? Death Rattle... Egg Delinquent. Najak. And 2 Undying Disciples. Well, 2 of those are bad pulls, 3 of them are good. I think that makes Dead Ringer worth it. Interesting deck here. 0-3 incoming. Thank you for the link, Corey. I'm not seeing the Onyxias. Are they in here already? I guess they're just in here already. How do I isolate them? That arena card list is wrong. Okay, well. Mullen blesses Greasy. That's true. Definitely true. Yeah, I'm not sure if we made the right call on that pick or not. But given that we had so few 3s, it's reasonable to take this as well. I hate that it has 3 health, though. Might shoot some dragons. Yeah, this will get... I don't know if this will be in the next meta, but it'll be strong if it is. I almost played it by accident. Probably just the medic. Gotta go cook my lunch for tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, Ilana. It was really nice talking to you. What are you cooking for lunch? If you want to share before you leave. Reprint the 4-mana 8/8 with Rush for Dragons. I don't think so. Sorry? Sorry? What is sorry? What is sorry? Pasta with a bunch of leftovers I have, like chicken and bacon. Sounds pretty good to me. The sandwich I'm eating right now features chicken and bacon. Hello, blessed target. Malagos, right? Just begging to be hexed. Poacher will stay banned. That is not the removal I was expecting. Wow. Best owl I've seen in a long time. Okay, I guess we could just do this. That's pretty good. Hit Croc to get through. We take a value trade here. Yeah, let's do that. Clear that totem away, take the value trade, go face with 1 damage. Seems better than letting this die. Lumi strats. Wow. That was a damn clean turn. I don't think it'll really matter. How many spells do we have in this deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7? That's a little bit too many to just play Malygos now. We can save it for later. Can't wait to play Warrior? Why? Why do you want to play Warrior? Oh man, have I reached my paint threshold today, or can I do another paint? Let me think about it for a second. Oh, we could reclaim this. That's pretty good, right? Because it comes back fully fresh. That's a cool aspect of Reborn. Did I have 3 health? I actually could have healed it and taken the trade there. That would have been more correct. Oh well. Oh well. The new Warrior Dragon's pretty nuts. Well, are you talking about Arena or Constructed? Because if you're talking about Arena, I think Warrior's gonna be atrocious. Like, the old sets that are coming back have just dirt tier Warrior cards all through them. Constructed, I have no idea. Thank you, we can just go ahead and do this now. Maybe they'll concede. I would. Would I? I probably wouldn't. Not gonna lie. What? That's the first good Grim Totem bounty hunter I've seen at all. Good for them. Oh man, y'all, my order sucks. My order sucks. Huh? Is that good? That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. Did they go off simultaneously? Just entomb it, not worry about it. You have 2 entombs. Bro blast! I guess I forgot they were gonna get these 1/1s. This play probably didn't make sense because of the 1/1s. Oh well. I am not playing optimally here. Hunter might be good because they're getting that dragon back. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Hunter could be good. I don't know, man. All the old warrior cards that are coming back in are like, spend 1 mana, gain 5 armor. I'm playable, look at me.
I'm undead, not dead.
Yoink. Hard to counter that. All right, I'm in bed. Blobby's in bed with Snowfall Guardian saying avalanche. That the prompt? We're gonna fucking speedrun this one, y'all. All right, here we go. Bedroom can be. I don't know. Bedrooms, they're like this color, right? And make a big bed here. Big bed. Bed, it'll be nice, like a nice baby blue. Bum. Alright. How does Snowfall Guardian look? Like a big ice guy. Its head is literally just like ice shaped.
I must consider.
Nixia or Deathwing? Against a priest. Against a priest, I probably want to go Deathwing. Could turn into a very long game, especially given our hand. Very control hand.
Welcome to the exhibit.
Yeah.
Can't go round, don't go through. I must consider.
The doctor is coming.
Alright, we'll make this a little bigger. That's an interesting play here. But I can't even play any minions with it. That kind of sucks. I was gonna say I can actually get the honorable kill with Bless, but... You wanna just make like a huge minion and go face? Like an 11-11? Is that what this is? Guess I don't see why not. All their bluffs say, hey, you better have an answer for this or else... Alright, there you go. Paint completed. Here, I'll even draw little pillows around our head for verisimilitude. Alright, so they did what? They Ajaxed? I guess we scream then, cause evil can't kill that. What if we disciple? Doesn't work, huh? It doesn't work because unless that thing attacks it, it won't actually die to the disciples' death rattle, so gotta scream. What's up, Tillamook? Corporal needs a promotion. Oh no. Well, it could be my turn. What if we just pass? If we take it and they have a fishy flyer, they immediately get it back. So, we're in a weird bind here, because my plan is to take it with Najax, but I don't have enough mana to do it with a taunt this turn. I can do it next turn, but I don't want to just do Najax this turn, because they could just fishy and get it back. I thought about just D-winging as well. Entomb, huh? We could Entomb that, and then Najax whatever. No, we should Najax this and Entomb whatever comes out of there, right? Pretty sure. We start with this to see what the minion is. Okay. Good deal. Thinking about joining the D&D session again? Yeah, right, you sent a message about that, I think. I haven't really looked into it. So I'm not sure. But it's a different session, right? Like, you were talking about there being, like, a ton of players. Or player slots, at least.
Don't keep your thoughts to yourself.
A Claimer would be such a blowout. If they have multiple 8-drops. Oh, they got me! They got me! Oh. Come on. You could do 4 damage past a taunt like that? Lame. Well, time to Entomb, I guess. Or... Excavated Evil? But then they get their other 8-drop, that's no good. Very confusing priest match. Yeah, such a priesty game, it's true. I think we just Entomb for now. Mine. If it's Troll Centurion, I think it's smart for us to make this trade, because they hit in, we go down to 5 health, and then they Troll Centurion. Yeah. You just get an extra trade out of it. So it was another Proto Drake, that's funny. Well, I guess we can Dragon Slay this one. A good card draw. Alright. Good deal. All we needed was for that card not to be... like Keymaster Alabaster or the Big Cleave Taunt. We just needed it not to be something busted. 6/6 is perfectly fine. More of a big combat session. It's Dragon Slayer. Good lord, I've been reading that wrong. Dragon Sayer? What had you been reading? Dragon Slapper? Dragon Lawyer? Dragon's Lair? That's pretty funny, yeah, definitely different, but... I'm sorry. What? Did you just have a second one of these? Or am I thinking of a different game where they Najaxed us? Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. I feel like this has happened to me recently. Guess we just Deathwing. We could try to, we don't have to Deathwing yet. We could do this for now. I think it's fine. Yeah, Disciple first. Oh, the Scream got them the other one. Oh, right. Oh, that's rude too. How did they know? How did you know, Darren? How did you know? Oh my god, kill me. It's still not enough. It's still not enough. Okay, well... guess we do this. It is because the 3/4 dies? I don't understand. Yeah, you thought that that was gonna hurt their board? No. Clearly you're not familiar with Hearthstone Power Creep circa 2021. Cards with death rattles that AoE no longer hurt your board as well. That's silly. Only the opponent's board. Never been offered that card. It's a really good one. One of the best. One of the best in the class. I wonder if we should have waited another turn. I don't think with 14 life yet left. I don't think so. Okay, so... Okay, wow, alright. So... This happens. This happens. That's really good, right? Can't quite get the honorable kills that I want, but... Still really good. Nailed that up to 4. So far, after 2 games, Wretched Reclaimer has been annihilating it. Oh my god. Such a fun card, too. Like, when killing one of your own minions is actually the right play. Very interesting. Good draws, good draws. Might not even need the D-Wing. But if we do, we are now in range of killing, which is very good. Yeah, Reclaimer is cool. It's not really something people like predict or play around, so it often feels like it comes out of nowhere. Nice little surprise. Are we ever worried about dying if we just Ogremancer here? Alexstrasza, right? Is Priest gonna have a drafted Alexstrasza? Possible. Hey, Tamakato. Ogremancer's great in top deck wars. I guess we could trade the 8-5 down and play Ogremancer. Yeah, this is kind of tricky. We could trade the 8-5, play Ogremancer, heal. We could play Ogremancer, go face, set up lethal. And also Deathwing, you're right. We're dead to Alexstrasza here, that's the only bad thing. But one card in existence being what kills us, I think we can live with that. Yeah, Deathwing is the 12-12 on board. And I think the only reason I'm trying to be greedy about it is... for a situation like this, if they like manage to clear it or... yeah, so... we actually do this order. It's kind of funny. You almost never play a minion before Deathwing. That's kind of silly. I don't know if you'll ever see that again. But it's right here. Yeah, very tricky indeed. Can you suck my dongle, please? Give me a break. Give me a break. Yeah, and that's why I was trying to resist playing the Deathwing. It just, like, they kind of forced us to play it, which really annoys me. They managed to have a play that clears and force us to play it there. Well, now we're having a top deck fight again. Game's lasting much longer than I would like. Fantastic, that's what I want to see in a top deck fight. Love to see the worst draw on the deck. Really makes me excited and happy. Maybe it was wrong to play Mermaid because of Scream. Yeah, maybe. Actually. Oh! Wow. Can you stop? Ah! Give me a break! Ugh, 8 cards a deck. We draw this trash. At least it has taunt, I guess. Alright, so I think we heal this. Yep. We have a lot of bad draws left. I guess but the only draw that was worse was the Serpent Egg than those two draws that we just had. Every draw's better. And even Serpent Egg is arguably better for a couple reasons. That's a fine draw. Let's just get rid of this 6-4. They could have a buff, so I'll trade. Who's winning in fatigue? It looks like we're both pretty much keeping pace with each other. Which should mean that I'll be winning, because they have less health, but that's changing very rapidly in a way that I don't appreciate. We'll save the evil. What's our next worst draw? I guess Serpent Egg next, right? We can anticipate the Serpent Egg coming down. Coming in. Awesome. Awesome! We turd-drawed ourselves out of this game. Because I don't think we beat Ysera. Wow. This has been an extremely frustrating game. Wow. Wow. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Alright. Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna AoE, right? Well, on the bright side, if we entomb their Ysera, we have a very small deck left, so... Are we dead, though? Yeah, we're dead. We have to entomb this, right? Otherwise we're dead. Because they have Nightmare still? Terrible. So we need Deathwing, right? Which means that we have to trade this, I think, because it gets us closer to Deathwing, right? Thins out our deck. I'm pretty sure we want to trade there. It sucks because we can't put them to 10, but... Alright, 1 and 3. I mean, I deserve a little luck, right? Awesome. And they hit us with a parting entomb, just to be spiteful. Wow, that was a control priest. Oh my god. I am shocked that with 2 cards left, they managed to completely obliterate our sizable advantage on board and our follow-up with the Deathwing. That's insane. Another priest, huh? Well, we have the bridge now, so we could actually coin 2s here. Maybe let's hold off on the coin. We're priest, we can't just play the tempo game. Get Sneaky D down on the board. Hey, all you good folks out in the chat. Thanks for being here. If you have Amazon Prime and you link it to your Twitch, you get a Twitch Prime sub for free that you can give to a streamer every month at no cost to yourself. Just a healthy piece of advice. Well, we could, Sylvia and heal it with a coin. We could... Omega Lol Mind. I think I just like the 3-drop. Let it be the bridge that we said that it would be. Yeah, you can do that for free every month. Or you could buy a sub out of your own pocket or gift it to others. But mostly it's important that you're here. And that you are watching with me. And, you know, I don't... I wasn't gonna tell you this in front of everyone, chat, but I love you. And, I think it needs to be said. Alright, I'm thinking we power into fusion one of these to kill the Korok. That's pretty clean. And we could take a value trade if we do it this way. Seems good to me. Oh, really? I love you too. Oh, shucks. Yeah, I was thinking it was one-sided this whole time. Spread the love far and wide, chat. Spread your love like you spread your legs to take a walk. You know how you're always doing that? Spreading your legs to take a walk? Sorry, wait... Wait a minute. Did they just cuck us with the darkness? Slam it. No, I'm not gonna slam it. I'm gonna play Night Captain. Tell me to slam it. Oh my god. That's like a 12 head play right there. That play's got 12 heads on it. That's so much value. They gave it to us from their deck. They stole one of our cards and they gave us this. Oh, so funny. I could slam it here. I don't think so, though. I think we'll just get through these Divine Shields the new fashioned way. Boop, and a boop, and I want to heal that spadoop. This game is going to fatigue. I think we'll beat this priest sooner than that. That's the impression I get. They drafted the darkness, y'all. You could have used darkness last game. Actually true. But they would have just stolen it, right? They would have entombed it or psychic screamed it or something. Maybe one of the games I'll be able to give my opponent the darkness, therefore a mischief maker it is. They got Mischief Maker, and after that they picked the worst card in every bucket. Are there two other legendaries that are worse than the darkness? I don't know what's in right now. There's stuff like Sergeant Sally. I would take the darkness over. I think we do this to counter spells. And, put a taunt up. Togwaggle? Mm-hmm. Loot Hoarder strats? In 2022? Love to see it. We could have had a Loot Hoarder earlier today. Are you ready, chat? Is it the right play? No, it's not the right play. Is it the play we're making? Yeah, it's the play we're making. Can't AoE the darkness, because it's dormant. No Psychic Scream will take my darkness away. So how does this work again? It puts it in the opponent's deck? Yeah, enemy deck. I have to admit, the art drawing, I thought it would be like you having flashbacks to earlier games involving Snowfall losses, not you literally in bed with it. Hey man, people tell me to draw myself in bed with a fantasy creature, I do it. No questions asked. Darkness win rate improved? Exactly! That's our long game. Improve darkness win rate, trick other people into taking the darkness, and then beat them. Who redeemed it? That was Pill Guy, I do believe. A little bit less sophisticated than my last drawing, but that last drawing took me like an hour, and this one took me like 5 minutes, so... Time spent, you know, it shows. Sometimes. 1, 2, 3. Seems fine. The darkness is a solid card. Stop it. The darkness isn't solid, it's intangible. You can't touch darkness, you dingus. You can merely exist within it. Hello. So I wouldn't mind coining the Geode. They might give us a trade heal, and if they don't, we just sneaky. Weird to not play Mermy on 1, but I think with this card, you like the coin play. Oh, the way it talks is just by saying only Avalanche like a Pokemon. Well, yeah, that's true. But it just so happens, coincidentally, that in this moment, it was essentially thinking about an Avalanche, so... Yeah, now if we trade, we can heal in Mermy, so it's not so bad. Does WoW lore cover genitalia of elementals? Genitalia? Genitalia? Died doing what he loved? That's all that any of us can hope for, I think, ultimately. I think we'll do the healing play. Avalanche. That is pretty good. A Pokemon based entirely around holding a lance. It always cracks me up when certain Pokemon are like, this Pokemon holds a stick. Because, like, do all Pokemon of that species decide that they want to hold a stick independently? Do they physiologically have to hold a stick? Is it an existential matter? I don't particularly want to make this a 3-7. I'd rather put the infusion on the egg. How am I gonna do that? We could do egg and delinquent this turn. Infusion next turn. Actually, let's do that, and then we could double 6 the turn after. Like leafcutter ants. Mm-hmm. It's like an environmental reason. Good ideas you've heard of to help global warming, climate change. Global, anti-capitalist, revolutionary upheaval. Literally the only idea that will help global warming and climate change. There is no other good idea I have heard, ever, ever, ever. Sounds like I'm being glib, but I'm not. I'm not. Every solution for climate change presented within the context of capitalism misses that capitalism demands that we are always striving for the next minuscule profit margin, and therefore we will always, always, always continue to rape and pillage our natural resources to get to that end. So the only way to stop climate change, climate catastrophe that we're already in the midst of, is revolution. Are there any particular scientific ideas that you've seen? Well, the science is driven by money. And so not only will science never develop anti-capitalist ideas, but it also will have whatever good ideas it comes up with ignored by the people who actually have the money and infrastructure to put it into place, the politicians and the, you know, the 1%ers, the rich. So it doesn't really matter if science comes up with the most brilliant idea in the world. It will not be implemented if it challenges the status quo. And any solution that might put a dent in our climate change problem will challenge the status quo. Was the answer eat the rich? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So my approach to the question is a theoretical one. You know, we've had people come into chat before who have said, like, climate change is going to be solved by this technology that they've been recently developing that sucks the poison out of the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. But I have absolutely zero faith that any technological advance will be used for anything other than evil under this current system, so to me, it's a political question, and it's a theoretical question, and it's a question of what the next global order looks like post-capitalism. Not a question of what new tech trick they're gonna come up with that'll save us. Those who might have the power to solve capitalism are wholly unwilling to do so. Yeah, the Biden administration has been a colossal failure for just about every reason. But that includes, you know, climate issues. You know, they're doing all of this new fracking shit that they shouldn't be doing, but they're doing anyway. They've completely waffled and then repressed any discourse about systemic climate adjustments. Yeah, I understood what you meant. Hello, an 8-8 for me? For moi? I'll just cancel out the 8 healing you just had. Just cancel that right out. Oh, it'll buff right out. Fusion reactors? It's just another tool, Gary Glaive. It's just another tool that will either be misused or not fully implemented because it challenges the status quo, which, you know, requires, among other things, military proliferation, pollutant proliferation through, like, mining and fishing and automobiles. Automotive industry is enormous. Like, anything that challenges these huge industries is not gonna be implemented. Incrementalism was ignored, so radical solutions are necessary. I agree. Incrementalism is not going to get us anywhere. Well, like half of our major cities have been underwater in the past few years, at some point or another. Pretty alarming. Omega lol medic. I also think some information may be hidden because of money as well. Oh sure, there's a conspiracy theory. I don't know if I necessarily believe this conspiracy theory, but it's plausible. There's a conspiracy theory that we actually have the cure to cancer. Or at least a workable cure. And it gets buried because a cure to cancer would actually challenge the for-profit medical industry and also the non-profit industry that's making a shit ton of money every time it does a, you know, beat cancer fundraiser. Our non-profit culture is a hive as well. But yeah, so many potential solutions, radical solutions, technological solutions get buried because to implement them would be to challenge the status quo. And that's why this is always, at the end of the day, a political issue, not a technological one. Cancer won't have a cure, it's such a broad family of diseases. Yeah, that's why I did the scare quotes, because there's not just, like, a serum that's gonna fix cancer, but... insert whatever makes sense there. Serpent egg, I feel like maybe we keep one or the other of these, but not both. If you Najack on curve, it could be good. Like, you take their 4-drop and they can't deal with that. We'll keep it. My mom tallied the cost of my dad's treatment for leukemia. It was over $1 million if it weren't for insurance. We've all tacitly accepted that in order to earn being alive, we have to work and make money. In order to earn being alive, we have to go millions of dollars in debt. In order to earn being alive, we have to earn the right to eat food or stay in a building that keeps us safe. The biggest lie that we accept with such regularity. And the most vile one. But they need us to buy into that lie. Because it keeps us infighting with each other. It keeps poor people getting pissed off at other poor people. And then, when that happens, they won't turn their gaze to the real people who are to blame. If there was a cure to cancer, would the super rich not have that cure available? I mean, we don't know what they're doing in their layers. But, again, a cure for cancer wouldn't be like a serum in a vial. It would probably be something that would have to have widespread, more systemic implementations. Or something? I don't know. I don't mind hexening the Direwolf Commander, and then maybe we could get some, like, honorable kills or something. I don't know if the time is right yet, though. The thing is, if we don't take that, they kind of run away with the board. So, I think I'm actually gonna do it. We'll see if this tempo Najak play makes sense. I'm gonna trade that. Maybe I should have traded the 1-3, actually. I traded the thing that could deal less damage to this. That's probably right, actually. What's Elon Musk doing in his bunker? I don't know, probably making underage kids fight each other to the death. If I know my Musk. Well, our plan worked like shit. Good thing we've got that 6-drop. I'm gonna kill the Candle Taker. It might not be the right call because they can get the honorable kill, but I'm gonna do it anyway. For Dogecoin. The paint art? Yeah, I'll read the title to you. It might be small on your screen. Blobby and Snowfall Guardian are in bed together, and Snowfall Guardian sensually whispers Avalanche to Blobby. What's up, Veritas? Give a shout out to Veritas. Shout out to Veritas, one of the greatest, highest performing, most potent arena streamers in existence. Veritas, I logged in a very good average on NA for next leaderboard season, so I might be challenging you for once here. Coming for you, respectfully. Subscription from Dark Paladin. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. You're a champ. You're a king. Oh, it was actually a gifted sub from Velstorm. Well, Velstorm, we know how supportive Velstorm is of the Blobster. Thank you so much, Velstorm. You've given of your heart, soul, and spirit. Mind, body. Soul. I already say soul? I think I already said soul. Not sure if we... 3 for 5, 6. Not sure if we hit or not. I'm gonna hold back. Alright, catching up on chat here. Yeah, I don't doubt that there could be a widespread cover-up. Of experimental cures that only the rich use, for sure. I feel like there needs to be a way to even out the playing field. No one's doing anything about it, not at a fast enough rate, at least. Yeah, the only way I know of to even the playing field is a collective rising of the consciousness that we actually have power over our fate because we can organize together to combat the people. The small amount of people who are wielding all the power. That cultural consciousness is very slow to develop. and can feel hopeless a lot of the time. Do we Disciple here? Or do we Entomb their 7-4? I don't love the Entomb play. I could go for another Disciple, I guess. See what's in here. Honestly, Deathwing might be better, but we'll go for the Ysera. Really depends on the charity. Invest in people, not causes. Find people that care about the shit you care about and invest in them. I actually agree with that advice. I think that's pretty good advice from Veritas. I think it's about, to quote... Do we Entomb that? I don't think we care about the honorable kill because they're at 36 health. So yeah, I'm just gonna take that and not worry about it. To loosely quote Italo Calvino's Invisible Cities, life is about finding within the inferno that which is not inferno and cultivating it. So, find the people who are making art you care about, support them. Find the people who are doing entertainment that means something to you, support them. Giving your money to a charity, that's a crapshoot. Very likely that that money is not ultimately going anywhere good. As far as whether charities are ultimately good or bad, I think they're bad. I would say charity is bad. Hot take here in from Blobby, charity is bad. And most charities are, you know, garnishing profits. Most charities are not actually doing anything to systemically help the people or the populations that they say they're helping. Most charities are merely aesthetic changes without any deep tissue impact. Most charities give a sort of a, like, put some money into a gesture of a gift. Was it like build a church or a community center in like a small town in Mexico, but there's no ongoing support to really help those people. There's not even any listening to what their needs actually are and how their needs could actually be met. And in addition to that, so much of the money earned is kept in order to line the pockets of the people who are running those organizations. What are we afraid of with the Rafam? Are we wanting to heal our face here? I know we can shoot 10 damage amongst our stuff, but I'm not that scared of that. It can give +10/+10. I'm gonna heal my face just in case. Just in case. Another thing about charity is that they're money laundering schemes. The rich pump shit ton of money into charities for publicity purposes to look good, and a lot of that money, if they are owners or affiliated with that charity, a lot of that money just comes back to them. Charity is an excuse for rich people to not pay taxes. Taxes would do so much better for the world than charity does. Because the amount that rich people donate is like a little teeny bitty drop from their fortune. Taxes would do so much more. But rich people donate to charities so that they could say, hey, I did my part, and not pay their taxes. So it's all bullshit, I think. Super Collider. Well, we just put the egg in the middle and just screw up Super Collider for days, right? Do we care about a Holy Nova against that board? Guess they don't have much left. We're worried about +10/+10, right? We need to remember that. I don't know then what we should do. We'll do this. And, we're gonna heal face in case they got that +10/+10. Weird plays. Oh my god, I'm so behind on chat. Alright, I'm gonna read fast. My rhymes are so potent that in this small segment I made all the ladies in the area pregnant. Very nice. I'm not saying every charity is evil also, so don't get me wrong. Don't take it the wrong way. Can we do anything about this? Nightmare on this. It's 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we can clear that. I wish we could deal 1 more damage so that this would count. We have to do the AoE. Is there any other way? Oh, wait. Oh, there is, though. So, 5, 8... 11. Not dead yet! Not dead yet! You've worked with people on the ground there, know enough of the money gets to them to make it worth it to me. Yeah, and so that's an organization, an institution that you've personally invested in and know intimately. That's cool. Like, you know how it works, you know where your money's going, you know where your effort is going. Most charity is just like, I feel like I should give to charity, I'll do Toys for Tots, or whatever, you just find one. But direct action, I would encourage. Direct action rather than just going through an organization. Like, figuring out how to directly accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Generally worth it. We need to heal face, I think. I'm just gonna do that first. Ogremancer. Reclaimer. Yeah, I guess we'll go with that. They can hit trade to clear. What a game. Very interesting game. This warrior is so powerful. Stop. Stop it. Oh my god. We're getting smacked around here. Even charities that do actually help, what they end up doing is destroying the local economy in poor countries. Yeah, that's another important point. Even well-intentioned charities can fuck up. This is a side effect of colonialization, you know, a long history of Western colonization and white supremacy is like, even organizations, you know, often white-led organizations that are like, I could help, I could do it. They end up colossally fucking up the local infrastructure because all they care about is helping the way that they think is good, like looking good from the outside, and then not actually, like I said, investing in any sort of long-lasting infrastructure is just aesthetic surface-level stuff that then imbalances systems that already exist. Rich people really cared about all the various causes they champion, they'd actually pay their taxes instead of avoiding them in any way they can. Absolutely. And they make lip service arguments like, well, I earned this money, I should be able to decide what to do with it. But no, you shouldn't. And you didn't earn it. You indirectly exploited millions to get it, so not really earning. 99% goes to administration. Yeah, right. Ah, that old catch-all term of administration. Where money suddenly becomes intangible and ethereal. Alright, we're 3 and 2 here. My deck got off to a good start and then hit a wall. With some really nasty control builds. I didn't think we'd be losing to control decks. I thought we'd be losing to aggro decks. Go figure. Go figure. Hey, Zaprito. Welcome. Charity is rehab for the reputation of the rich. I like that. It's a good way to put it. Because oftentimes, you see people buy that hook, line, and sinker. You say, well, this insert billionaire here is bad for the world because it's all exploitation all the way down, and their immense riches are ill-gotten, and etc., etc. And then people will respond oftentimes, but they've given so much back to charity. Yeah. It works. It makes people think that they don't deserve to be eaten. Those charities are deeply interwoven with religious or political organizations, so you have to wonder what their real primary goal is. Yeah, Salvation Army is like this. Also, there's some fucked up stuff I've heard about all the red Santas who ding the bells during Christmas, if you have that where you are. I like putting the Bone Wraith down here, and then depending on what they do, stealing a minion, hiding it behind the Bone Wraith. Seems good. Yeah, however you say that phrase, Pill Guy, I agree. I don't know about the Tillamook D&D. You're doing the D&D this time, Veritas? I have not yet decided. Sounds like it's gonna be very combat focused, which is not typically what draws me to D&D, the combat. I don't think they played anything worth stealing. So we'll just sort of do this. You know anyone else who's doing it, Veritas? Federal government has too much involvement with our lives. I personally live in the United States of America, which is 50 states united against foreign aggressors. Well, those states ain't shit either. Each individual state being responsible for themselves would be a nightmare. The federal government forcing them to do things is also a nightmare. It's all a nightmare. I don't think our problem is big federal government. Our problem is bad federal government. Like, if you're saying just let each state do whatever it wants, you're essentially abandoning millions of people to, like, medical misery, slavery, etc., etc. Because that's what states will choose to do if they're left to their own devices. We already essentially have enforced slavery in the form of the prison industrial complex, which is somewhat differently regulated from state to state, but pretty much runs rampant otherwise. If your plan that you said would fix climate change, if it took place and happened, what would be the outcome afterwards? Nobody knows, and I think that's beautiful. And scary. Nobody knows what comes after the revolution, and anyone who says that they know is lying. You really need 2 Dakotas. Scholars everywhere are asking, do you need 2 Dakotas? Why don't we just fuse all the states and have one big one? That'd be a pretty fun invention. A country that's just one big state. Nobody's heard of such a thing. Trade and Ogremancer seems adequate. The Santas are a charity? Yeah, they're like ringing a bell and trying to get people to donate. Did you think that there was just individual Santa Clauses taking people's money? It might also be Salvation Army. It's the ones with the red buckets. They're not always Santas. Sometimes it's like old ladies. How quickly do I think the changes socially and financially would be implemented? Yeah, I mean, if you're getting into specifics and details, I'm clueless. No, I'm not gonna pretend otherwise. We could entomb this. Looking at Najak. We actually do have a decent Najak play. We could take that. Ram, hit. It's pretty solid. Not amazing, though. That's solid. If it doesn't work, I guess we can entomb later. What if we next turn Najak and then power infusion the Najak? Still dice to hard removal. Let's do this now because we have the Ogremancer up, and so any spell that they might play to get the Najak dead, gonna summon a 2/2. Hillguy, Veritas, Jummy Judge, Ish Sponge, and maybe Dan. That's a good crew. That is a good crew. Noblesse Oblige. Sofa as well. Word. That is a cool crew. Alright, yeah, I'll take a look at Veritas's message again and... How did they kill our... Oh, Knight Captain and the dagger. Alright. I'm trying to big brain this one, y'all. 3/6. Oh, this actually sucks. I thought it would kill that too, but it doesn't. Why did I think it would kill this? Whatever. This place kinda crappy, but also kind of fine. Thought they were real Santas gathering funds for his workshop. Or maybe real fake Santas. The fake Santas that Santa sends out to gather money, so that the real Santa doesn't have to bother. Pretty sure I've heard that specific lie told to a kid before, when they like realized that the people dressed up as Santa aren't Santa. And the response was, oh well, he just hires Santas, because he can't be everywhere at once. Pretty plausible. The whole how will you do it or who will pay for it are often used to obfuscate the point. Yeah, I agree with that. It's just a terrible argument. Like, how are we gonna pay for the continued inefficiencies of capitalism? Nobody ever asks that. It's always, how will you pay for whatever else there is out there? Well, we're out of AoE, which is unfortunate. Good lord, this guy just won't die. I think I'm gonna entomb and heal up. Probe. Entomb and then heal, and if they somehow find another way to keep this alive, then we'll pick Rocket. Personally, I was trying to obfuscate the point. Yeah, we would have to nail down a lot of specifics about what exactly you're asking about before getting into that conversation of how to implement things. And that's when I really cease to be useful. Ouch. Think they got something? I wish we could save this for burn. Gotta stabilize a little bit. I'm worried about this one. He can't be everywhere at once. How does he deliver the presents, dummy? Well, he flies really fast. That's how. He hustles. That's hustle culture right there. Santa should be an inspiration for us all to work for Uber Eats. Well, that's a good draw, and I think I'm just gonna power and fusion it to make it an even better one, right? And then I don't think we hit here. Because if the 210 has to go in, and then it dies because the 5 damage AoE. I thought charities were the hustle culture. Well, maybe Santa is a charity. We're making all sorts of dot connects here today, chat. We're figuring stuff out real good. You believed in the WWE longer than Santa? Something beautiful about that. Genuinely wonder if I'm to ever have kids if I will tell them about Santa. I get that it's to introduce a little Christmas magic, but it's also straight up lying to them. I think lying to kids a little bit is important, and really it's a fantasy, it's just different than a lie. Like, when you tell the story of Little Red Riding Hood, you're not, like, lying to a kid, it's a story. But I have also had that thought of not really knowing... Oh my god. That's pretty good. Not really knowing how I want to approach the Santa thing. The Santa dilemma. But my solution that I've come up with is just don't have kids. That's my current working solution. Alright, Violet Haze, what's inside of you? Oh. If this deck were to get to 12, which I do not think it will, Wretched Reclaimer would be a serious candidate for MVP because it has been phenomenal so far. I think I make this trade, right? Or when they hit here, do the 1/1s die? They do, right? Because the worm was down before this taunt. So we go face then? I think the worms die. But yeah, then there's the issue of, like, it affects other people's kids too, because then your kid's gonna be like, my dad said Santa wasn't real, and then everyone's gonna get pissed off. Dumb. Yeah, I don't really think that children are innocent and need to be protected by adults. I think that children should be spoken to a lot more honestly than they are. I think children should actually learn about things in the world, because eventually they will be adults who have to deal with things in the world. Hilguy's example of sex education is an excellent one. We have endemic pregnancy issues. Yeah, they weren't sure whether the worms would live or not. Alright, good deal. We have issues with like pregnancy and STDs and stuff because we are like, kids are innocent, we need to protect them from sex. Which, first of all, assumes sex is a negative thing. Second of all, assumes that kids aren't learning about that shit anyway. And third of all, assumes that they will be in some way harmed by learning about the world that they occupy. I'm all about informing kids about shit. Just don't be a creep about it. WWE? Oh yeah, it's all predetermined, I think. It's predetermined so that they can make it more entertaining. Because it's not a sporting event, it's a soap opera, right? So they predetermine the results so that they can get there with the most showiness, which I think is a good thing. I don't think I ever really believed in Santa either. I paid it lip service because it seemed like it was important to the adults around me, but it never quite made sense to me. If you want to quell Walmart Nation, you gotta have kids, otherwise be okay with the result in 30 years. I don't understand. Are you saying if smart people don't have kids, we're gonna get overwhelmed by dumb people? That's a very idiocracy point of view. I don't agree with that. It's also assuming that if you don't have kids, you will never interact with a child. Like, we can still be mentors, even if we don't have kids of our own. Blobby, have 1 billion kids and teach them all your rhetoric. I will just pump out of my penis an army of intellectuals. How about that, chat? Will that satisfy you? My penis is gonna get really tired. The Captain Fantastic, this world. Do we want to bless here? Seems good to me. I get they can't clear it. Like, we're going up to 6, then down to 4. They'll have 3 damage with the rushes. I guess it's worth it. And I also suppose I'll trade, not sure. Trade's fine. Anyone have any uteruses to donate? I'm gonna need a lot of uteruses, okay? So line up. I think it's a real problem that we do have this mindset that having kids is the only way you can have an impact on the future. That's a real mindset that a lot of people have. They think like, oh, if you don't have kids, you don't want to make a mark. But there's a million ways to make a mark. It's just we're fixated that it has to happen through traditional heterosexual family unit style rearing of children. But it definitely doesn't have to. Santa is supposed to represent universality, but acting like he's real gives rise to questions like, why does Santa like rich kids more than me? Kids believe in Santa to please adults, and adults act like they believe to please kids. It's a good example of how all desire/fantasy works. Yeah, we're always playing games with ourselves and those around us. And they found a way to clear with a broomstick. I don't mind. They used their broomstick, they took the damage. I'm gonna play both of these rather than heal. Better sets up for Knight Captain. Also, you can reclaim this. Maybe I should have thought about that. Yeah, like I could have healed it. Then they hit and then reclaim. Oh well. I'm still getting a good result here, so I am happy. Acha! Sex cults, the best way to spread ideology. It worked for Mormonism. My personal belief is there are not that many dumb kids, just not many who had the chance of a good education. 100% agree. 100% agree. Yep. Because we are individualistic and fixated on, like, the actions of individuals above all else, we see somebody do some dumb shit and we're like, that's a dumb person. But that's never exactly why people do things. We don't do things because we're dumb. That's not motivation. Being dumb doesn't make you make a bad decision. It might cloud the consequences of such a decision, but motivation is so much more about desire and drive and all the things that get incessantly advertised to us and all the ways that we're taught in school, and so much more about ideology than just, like, intelligence and stupidity. And I agree that, like, just, like, dumb kids is such a... not really a thing. Kids are pliable, kids are shapeable, and if they're being shaped by huge assholes, then that's what they'll become, sadly. So it's about our education system, and it's about community learning as well. Which is a much harder problem to tackle than just saying, more smart people should have more kids, you know? Some of the smartest people in the world are the most evil as well. I mean, like Nazi scientists, etc., etc. So. Okay, we could Peanuts if we want. We could Goliath. We could Undying. Undying could be really good. Maybe we save Undying for a Wretched Reclaimer combo? Maybe they don't kill Undying right away and then we can Wretched Reclaimer it? Let's go with that line. Let's hope that they can't kill it. Because if they can't, then we reclaim and we Totem Goliath, and that's a very good turn. I mean, the word stupid is thrown around school hallways everywhere. Yeah, that's because kids are stupid. That's why they call people stupid all the time. Oh, they had the clear. Oh well. Higher income households can afford to enrich their children and make full use of their potential. But higher income households are also the ones who are creating the worst people, so it's not like that situation is working that you're describing. I think we need different soundtrack. I think we need something different. Let's go... go with this. Go with that for now. I'm looking at Excavated Evil. We could actually also just Penance, like hit here, Thalnos Penance. Then Reclaimer, get an extra card draw. I'm gonna go with the whole other line than what I have talked about heretofore. And do this. I run a free homework help program at the youth center I volunteer at. I've never had a problem teaching those kids that society would label dumb. You just need to approach topics in different ways than the curriculum, and they have the capacity to learn pretty much anything. Yeah, when society labels a whole group of people dumb, then you can bet your bottom dollar that they are either primarily poor or primarily black, or potentially Latinx. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And those kids aren't dumb, but they give the appearance of being dumb to privileged people because they're being neglected in ways that those privileged people can't understand because they've never experienced it. So yeah, you need to approach topics in different ways than the curriculum, and they have the capacity to learn pretty much anything. That's called being a good teacher, and I'm glad you're doing that work, Veritas, and recognizing that it needs done. That's really important. Any shortcomings of kids are actually shortcomings of adults, ultimately. Three, four, five. Now, are our totems gonna die when this dies? I don't remember the order. Did we play this after? I think we did. Let's see what's in here first. I guess we didn't need to give them that, but hopefully it won't matter. Actually, do this? I'm sure I did that in a kind of a clumsy way. Kids today are fucked. As an after-school teacher, I see it. They have access to all this info, but aren't developmentally ready to handle it all. Yeah, right, and again, it's not still in this matter, it's not an issue of smart or dumb, it's an issue of emotional intelligence, even. Like, you might have the information, but you might be reacting to that information in an immature way because you're not developmentally to a point where you can handle it yet because nobody has, taught you how to get to that point. I think if we block and smork, I think that's gonna be our best bet. I think we can get there. I believe. Cecil Zero, thanks for that follow. Welcome to the fun dungeon. Glad you're enjoying yourself, presumably. Kids are learning about the world mostly through Minecraft streams, which is such an important learning tool for kids, I think. In good ways and bad. I grew up poor with 3 siblings and we're all pretty bright and resilient and creative people. Yeah, it's just anti-poverty that makes people believe otherwise. Okay. Boom. Feels good, man. It could have been Ice Barrier, actually. In fact, very likely was. So, order matters there. If you attack face, then... Oops. It could have also been Flame Ward. Fun games, even though this deck is struggling to get infinite. Very fun games. Wretched Reclaimer. Again, MVP material. Regardless of the nature versus nurture argument, declining populations aren't good for anybody. That's funny, because I have people coming into this chat telling me all the time that increasing populations aren't good for anybody. So which is it? Is it that overpopulation is a problem, or is declining population a problem? I think neither is a problem. And both of them are smokescreens to cover up real systemic issues. It's not about the number of people, it's about the motion of the ocean, you know? Most of my kids come from broken homes. And they have enough shit to put up with in their day-to-day lives that school just becomes a lower priority, and for that they get labeled dumb, which is silly. Yeah, very empathetically expressed. 'Cause, like... This topic really burns my britches. Because you're right. People, these kids get labeled dumb for for essentially being poorer, coming from a trauma-laden household. And again, the people who are spouting off about this the most, the like Ben Shapiro's of the world, who the worst thing that's ever happened to them was a vending machine ate their $5. And they couldn't get their fucking mallow cup or whatever he eats. These are the people who are willing to be the most dehumanizing at the slightest drop of a pin, and they don't understand that, like, the world isn't objective in these ways. Like, your learning style isn't just about your capacity for intelligence. It's like, if you're on a daily basis trying to survive at home, trying to process trauma that nobody is helping you process, then of course school is going to go by the wayside. Of course you're not going to have the focus to engage with this thing that seems frivolous in comparison with daily survival. That's just true not only of humans, but of all animals, that it's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? We'll do what we are... We'll focus on what we're capable of focusing on. Really excellent on-curve Najax here, because they can't get at our 1-4 past this taunt. They have to kill it first. Hopefully.
You want it? I got it.
So again, always systemic issues, not individual issues. Did you check out the Arena Lost yet? Do you mean the new cards? They're not all gonna be out until tomorrow, so I don't think we're gonna do that today. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think people use overpopulation to explain away their unsustainable behavior. Yeah, it's about sustainability, not size of population. That's the short story.
I must consider.
Yeah, I don't really know what you're talking about either, Pill Guy. Trying to delineate between different kinds of poverty or something? Oh, they got bad 5s there. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just do this. We could, like... Yeah, I was... Well... Whatever. Chat, I want to introduce you to my friend here in chat, Zap Predator. Enjoy your time here, Zap Predator. Polymorph. A polar bear blinking in a snowstorm for the next paint request. You know what? I take this as a sign. I take this as a sign that Rossum doesn't like the current painting. Because they wants to replace it with this. We'll do little shades. We'll do 50 shades of gray. Wretched Reclaimer MVP. Not as good in the early game though, so I'll probably throw it away. Might keep Holy Nova against Demon Hunter though. Alright. There you go. There you go, Rossum. I hope you're very happy with the results of my recent masterpiece here. A polar bear blinking in a snowstorm. We could ram coin ram. Is that worth it? Should we just Tol'vir instead? Do we want to coin Knight Captain when the time comes? I think so. I'm just gonna Tol'vir. Yeah, nothing is gonna kill a kid's motivation to do well in school more than being labeled a problem child. That it's a motivation killer. Also, like, ADHD is a factor as well. One that we don't deal with in particularly responsible ways. Penance, Commander, trade. The Holy Nova Keep didn't end up being that good. Hey, what if we just hit and Knight Captain? That's probably better, right? Do we want a 2/2 Divine Shield on the board at the end of the day, or do we want a 6/6? We want a 6/6, right? Take that while we can get it. Society has a hierarchy of subjects that they value. I have a very strong math and science brain. Society labels me a genius. My sister does not have that, but has equally genius level brain for literature, which I suck at. She was called dumb by teachers in elementary school because she struggles with math. It infuriates me. Yeah, so there were, like, I guess some good parts of the STEM movement, but the really obnoxious side effect of it has been to emphasize certain skill sets and subjects over others. You know, to the detriment of others. So the arts and the humanities and the social sciences are all sort of wallowing right now because we've been fixated on natural sciences for years, and all of those things are important. All the categories feed and nourish each other, cross-pollinate each other, and need to regulate each other as well. So you get kids, especially boys, who are praised for being, like, good at STEM stuff, and then you get kids, typically girls, who are, like, shit on for having different, equally impressive skill sets. It really sucks. Because we have Holy Nova, I think I want to go face rather than trade. We have 2 Holy Novas, we gotta use them. Would you rather be a Bidoof or a Rattata? I would rather have a Bidoof as a pet, probably, because they seem fluffy. I would rather be a Rattata. Rattata is dope, and it's got big chomp power. Go chomp anything. I would like to chomp things. Rattata is fast, speedy, spunky. I'll be a Rattata. It's good questions, Purdue. I appreciate that. Yeah, what we label as quote-unquote genius or not is super limited. It's super small-brained. Our takes on what being a genius is. Because another thing that we need to remember about genius is, you know, we celebrate all these white men who are like geniuses because we respect the specific thing that they were good at. But we also forget that, like, there are an immense number of non-white men who would be galaxy brain tier geniuses at that very same thing if they were given the resources and the opportunities to grow in the same way. Which is, you know, it gets into conversations about affirmative action, which a lot of people are like, well, I think people should have to earn their way, but to earn your way, you need to be let in the door first, and that's what affirmative action does, which is an imperfect solution, but at least it's thinking about these things in a rudimentary way. So many geniuses were undiscovered or not given the resources to do what they could have done to improve the world because of poverty. It's a tragedy that's invisible and ongoing. Bless has been great. I don't know. I think, again, this is we keep one or the other of these. I'm not sure which. This time maybe we'll keep less and throw the legendary. That's a coin toss for me. Can I get this in NFT form? This? You want this painting in NFT form? I guess it's over there. That painting? Not any of my other Maestra pieces? Alright, just give me $6 million and it's yours. Don't give Blobby access to Hyperfang. Oh, yeah. Oh my god, the Joe Rogan stuff. Society generally finds more value in mechanical and mathematical intelligence, which is amusing considering that that particular set of skills is just as likely to save the human race as it is to destroy it. Right, which is why we need arts and humanities to reflect on what we're doing and not just barrel forward like fucking suicidal apes. I'm pretty torn between playing the Rams and just playing Dead Ringer. But we'll clear that minion, I guess. Yeah, and you know, and it's worth talking about what Zaprito's mentioning, which is that these disparities that we create are also bad for the people who benefit from them. Like, it sucks to be the one labeled a problem child. It also sucks to be the one labeled a gifted child. Because, you know, then there are all these expectations that you feel like you're supposed to live up to. And then you have this tortured relationship with yourself, and it probably starts to make you hate the thing that got you labeled as gifted in the first place, and you know, it can inflate your ego in dangerous ways, and it's just like the way that the patriarchy harms men just as much as it harms women. It's just we don't talk about that part as much because it's less apparent. Because in patriarchy, most violence is directed from men towards women. Not all. And in the education system, most deleterious effects of these groupings are targeted towards the problem kids. But it's a system that doesn't work for anyone in both of those examples. Beep-a-dip-beep-beep-boo, beep-a-dip-beep-beep-boo, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. I'm gonna play these two. Hope that there's no dragon that comes down, but I feel like we might want to bless on the Omega Medic, so we'll hold it in hand for a hot second. And all of this also is, you know, Frank alluded to this earlier, but we're just generally not teaching kids in the way that kids learn best, which is by fueling their curiosity rather than, you know, punishing them for their apathy. It's all completely backwards. AoE me? Unfortunately, they can just trade everything in right now. But it's fine. I don't think I would have gone into engineering if I hadn't been praised so much for my math and science brain. I'd probably be a teacher right now, and I think I'd be more satisfied with that. That's really interesting, Veritas. And a testament to how our desires themselves are shaped by our environment. One of the many problems with believing that we are all individualists who are making objective decisions is that our decisions are not actually really under our control. This was a Freudian insight, you know, a couple hundred years ago, and it holds true that our desire itself is shaped by our environment. It's colonized. So even when we want something, it's almost like we can't fully trust that that's the thing that we want. Probably just excavated evil, this. And there are so many people who aren't following their bliss, who aren't following their desire, whether it's, you know, a profession, like becoming a teacher rather than an engineer, or whether it's a sexuality thing, like coming out of the closet. Repression is a hell of a drug. Hello? Doctor's in. I struggle with the desire for attention and approval for the things that I do, which definitely didn't help matters when I got the most attention for the math and science stuff. I think I dodged a bullet. Because when I was a kid, I got praised for my language skills, but also my math skills. And, let's do this, and then trade and heal. We could have also... No, this is best. This is best. And it wasn't until high school where I had a particularly bad math class that I kind of stopped doing math as much, and leaning more into, like, English and theater and that sort of thing. Which ultimately became my passion, and I was lucky to have parents who encouraged me to go into, for example, theater, or to even be doing this right now. My parents don't get on my case about it. So I was fortunate in that way, but I very easily could have gone into an alternate universe path where I... went into math or something because it just seemed like that was the right thing to do, the thing that would make me money, the thing that would garner me the most praise, that would be best for the world or whatever. I could see an alternate universe where that's the case and I'm just miserable. A lot of stuff had to align for me to be able to follow my bliss. And when I was first getting into theater, I was really coasting on white privilege too. It's not like I wasn't putting in the effort, but I got opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten if I looked different. And you know, there's no shame in acknowledging that. But it's important to acknowledge. Because it's a part of the whole conversation. Yeah, I mean, really, we're having like a bundle of 50 different conversations under the guise of one. Because the more you delve into any topic, the more you see how interconnected everything is. We could keep the Bone Wraith. Like, our deck is weird enough that we don't always have drops when we need them. Maybe keeping the Bone Wraith is a pretty good idea. It's been a stellar feature of this deck so far. Veritas, do you feel committed to your career path? Do you feel, like, locked into it? Or do you ever consider doing something that you aren't equipped or trained for? Are you like, well, I picked my path, now I'm committed to it? It's a question I ask myself many days, and I'm often still not really sure of the answer.
Tracking my movements.
Not locked in, but I do feel committed to it until the house is paid off, which is looking like 5 to 6 years. Ah, okay, so you have like a tangible physical limiting factor in the form of a house that you're working on paying off. Makes a sense. Makes a certain amount of sense. Then you might save for a bit and go into teaching. Cool. Mid-30s at that point, a lot of life left. Absolutely. That's a great attitude to have. It's so easy to be afraid of big changes like that because we're like, no, what if it doesn't work out for us and then we, you know, we've wasted the years that it took to try to make it work. But I don't know, a lot of famous authors started when they were in their 50s. '30s is still young, and it's never too late to start something new. Unless it's a very specific goal, like I'm gonna be a heavyweight champion or a chess grandmaster or something, and sometimes it is too late. But if your goal is to be good at boxing or chess, then yeah, never too late. Danger Mouse, appreciate the follow. Welcome to the fun dunge. Either we trade the 1/1 and Bone Wraith, or we power infuse the R1/1 and hit their 3/2. I don't mind the power infuse play. Is there anything we want to use power infusion on later? Egg, maybe. Egg gamers. Alright, we'll just Bone Wraith then. I'm gonna be a heavyweight grandmaster at chess boxing. In the anime Nishiju, there's a joke about kids in high school starting a Go soccer club, as in a combination of the games soccer and Go, or football, if you prefer. Go being the Japanese board game. Chess boxing made me think of that. I thought you followed a while ago too, but I welcome it now. God damn it, I meant to add my arena tag earlier, but I guess I didn't do it. Alright, that should do it. Streaming not under the arena tag, Blobby, amateur move. Amateur move, Blobster. Okay, Huh. Nothing quite works out here the way I would like. Let's penance this. Trade that and heal, I think. Teacher pays criminal. Oh, it's awful. And then teachers have to, like, buy supplies for their classrooms because their supply budgets are so terrible. Ugh. Ugh. That's the whole other thing, is we need to support teachers better if they're gonna be at all equipped to develop our kids. More work, less pay. If I already have my house paid off, money won't be a stressor. Yeah, I had a lot of financial stresses taken off my shoulders in the recent move to this new home, and that's really what's allowing me to comfortably stream. Otherwise, I'd be like, I don't know. Too anxious about money to do such a low-paying day-to-day work, you know? Let's do Geodude. Trade heal. Trade. An egg or a delinquent? Egg to set up for power infusion? Yeah. Egg is also good anti-AoE here. Hey, wait. But you can get massive grants from certain religious institutions as a teacher if you agree to only teach creationism. Well, that's a great deal, because, I mean, God created the heavens and the earth, so you can get paid to teach that, then all the better. God created the heavens and the earth, all that is seen and unseen. God even created the active and constant principles of evolution. God even created Charles Darwin himself and gave him the capacity to discover evolution and teach us all about it. Thanks, God. Real bro. Real mensch. I'm seeing a play. I'm seeing... Okay, so first of all, let's get the gank. Heal. Trade. And then... reclaim. Get the full Bone Wraith back. And profit. Reclaimer, man. Reclaim. I assume it's actually illegal for now. Since when did the law ever stop WASP Christian money schemes? Christians aren't beholden to man's law, I'll have you know. Infusion. I'm gonna get a last little bit of value out of this Geodude, which has been phenomenal. And then I'll kill it. Keep our taunt healthy. And we got a 4/7 egg that spawns a 3/4. Pretty good. We are most definitely beholden to man's law, just saying it's straight out of the Bible. Of course I was being sardonic, but if you want to actually get into it... are there different types of man's law? Because the Bible tells us to follow God's law above man's law. Maybe it's like a hierarchy. We're supposed to follow God's law up until the point that it contradicts with man's law. You could take one of the Anoyotrons. I think I'm fine with that. Yoink. Da 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 da. Na 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 na. I'm not gonna play this because we already have taunts out. Exactly, you're meant to follow both to the best of your ability. Live as part of the world, but not embracing all the things of the world. In the world, but not of the world. Big egg. Transcendentalism and all that. But the ways of the world are just shadows and shades that will eventually melt away in the face of God. But also, Christians are supposed to show other people of the world that they're somehow beyond temptation, and so following man's law helps you do that. It's an interesting contradiction. Hoping this goes 12 purely because Reclaimer deserves to be gold. That's true. If we're at 8 wins, we might actually get there. This has been an interesting game. A lot of very interesting games this run. We don't really need to...
I'm undead, not
I'll knock the shield off and then send the rest face. Yeah, this game, I mean, we're favored in some ways. We have the board. But they have a lot of health for us to get through. Priest needs to be redeemed. Catholic Church has done some shit, that's true. So, okay, let's see here. We're supposed to demonstrate that how prioritizing the 2 greatest commandments of loving the Lord with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving our neighbor as ourselves is a way of life that improves our own lives and also the lives of those around us. A form of passive witnessing, allowing your life to be a witness. I'll trade just in case of Blessing of Authority or stuff like that. People are ultimately flawed, which in my opinion should not reflect on their religion, but often does. Well, yeah, people are flawed, but even more so I think that the institutions of Christianity have gone a long way towards corrupting what is truly valuable about it. I think that Christianity has a tremendous capacity to be radical in all the ways that we're talking about wanting. But it often gets dismissed as backwards because of the most influential forces of Christianity currently being forces of profit and business and right-wing politics. An institutional manifestation of a religion should not stand in for that religion, and it does in most people's minds. Jesus said it perfectly, love the Lord and your neighbor. Yeah. Yeah, Jesus was pretty anti-rich as well. He redistributed the shit out of the wealth when he flipped all the merchants' tables at the temple. Jesus is great. Jesus is a bro. Big fan of Jesus. We could have won sooner if we had gone face more, probably, but we're being pretty careful. When organized religion becomes contradictory to those two commandments I listed, then Jesus would come in and flip the tables on those religions. Yeah, hell yeah. And then some. I just really get hung up because a lot of Christians use the respect the laws of the earth as an excuse to continue evil practices, or to be complicit in allowing them to happen. I have conversations along these lines with my mom a lot, who is Christian herself, and oftentimes when I talk about what needs to dramatically change about the world, or what we should fight against, her response is to like throw up her arms and say, well, people are just evil. God says that people are sinful through and through. And we'll never make a perfect world because the Bible tells us that in the end times, the world will be very imperfect and Jesus will come and fix all that. So if Jesus is going to come and fix it, why should we strive for that perfect world that we'll never get to? But for me, it's not about striving for a perfect world at all, just a marginally better one. It's not a lot to ask for. And I really hate that transcendental mindset of, well, this world is going in the trash can, so we should just let it take its course. But it's not that Christianity advocates for this, it's that, again, one interpretation of Christianity advocates for it, and there are a lot more radical Christians who are all about fighting for the world as holy warriors, right? Maybe in the end times, Jesus is gonna come back, but we need to, like, make fertile ground for that. We need to do the work now. We need to fight for the future, rather than adopt this lazy fatalism. I hate that too. I also hate the mindset of, if God has predestined who's gonna be saved, then I don't need to do anything, it's all scripted. And in fact, this mindset is the germ of capitalism itself. Capitalism would not have been invented in the same way without Christianity, as the sociologist Max Weber outlines in his book, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. He studied the roots of capitalism and learned that, in addition to the material causes necessary that were made possible by the Industrial Revolution, you also need ideational frameworks in place. You need ways of thinking about the world. And Christianity, specifically Calvinism and predestination, created this kind of terrifying uncertainty about eternal fate in the Christians who adhered to those beliefs. You know, if everything is written in God's book before it happens, then I'm already either saved or damned, and how am I to know which is which? And it's that uncertainty that made people start to connect Christianity with wealth and say, well, wealth is a tangible indicator that God's favor is upon you. So maybe it's that the people who have wealth are being rewarded by God, and that's an indication that they are going to be saved. And so these wires got crossed in people's heads, where being saved was connected with a material accumulation. And so that anxiety of not knowing whether you're damned or saved ended up being a fueling force for people to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and greed and greed and greed. And now it's that same religious force that drives the capitalists of today, even though they're not Christian anymore, per se. It's that force passed down through generations, that anxiety that's still driving people to accumulate, even though we don't know why. We don't know why we're doing it, other than that we're supposed to. Or that it absolves us, or that it says something about us. And it's also why we have this lingering lionization of the rich, even though there are oppressors. I'm not a Calvinist, to be clear. I see serious flaws with the ideology. Oh yeah, I'm just talking about stuff. I'm not really implying anything about you specifically. Do you have a branch that you adhere to, Veritas? Greed is the only problem with capitalism, in my opinion. Well, capitalism is greed, so if by the only problem you mean the whole thing, then I agree. Can't have capitalism without greed, it doesn't make sense. It's an ethos of accumulation. And if we extricate greed from our systems, then we won't have capitalism anymore. It'll be something else. What's up, Barzarzel? Evangelical Protestant. Armenianism over Calvinism. Not super familiar with Armenianism. But, you know, I guess to be clear about my point, you don't need to be Calvinist to have inherited the spirit of capitalism, the Protestant ethic, from previous generations. The most atheisty atheist in the world is still carrying forward that spirit of Calvinism because they're a capitalist. And it also is not a damnation of Calvinism itself, it's just what Calvinism allowed to develop because of its ideological ingredients. It's almost like a chemistry experiment. You know, you don't use a chemical. I would give a specific example. I don't know anything about chemistry. You don't use hydrogen peroxide to combine with some other chemical to make a poison and then blame that chemical for being poisonous. On the other hand, you have to hold ideologies accountable for the sorts of thought that are most allowable and common within the framework. It's an interesting and difficult conversation. I am Geckonism. Geckonism? Is that the belief that you could save 15% or more on your car insurance by switching to Geico? Spellstone Hunter, this was my deck from earlier, maybe. I get your thoughts on this Pally deck? Sure. Wall Street, Gurdon, Gecko, or Geki. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's just sounds, noises. I don't know what that means. Gurdon, Gecko, Geki? What are you talking about? What is that? Oh my god, it is our deck from earlier! A 9-win secret bunker hunter? This is what we tried to do and failed miserably. Can we afford to coin this? Coin and then maybe like value trade and reclaim? That seems sketchy. I'm gonna do nothing. Alright, this Paladin deck, let's take a peek. Okay, well you got Ibis, so that's good. You'll probably pick up a couple wins from that alone. You have 2 first days of school and a Christology, but not a lot of ones. So that's a little bit questionable. Strong 2s, but only 4 of them. And your threes, you have 1, 2, 3, like 4 threes, if you don't count Scarab. Card quality, pretty good. We actually could have gotten away with the Slayer Reclaimer line. Maybe we still can. Oldemon's good. Prismatic Lens, potentially interesting. Hard card to make work. 2 Blood Guards is strong. So the real juice of this deck, as I see it, are the 2 Templar Captains. I think you might lose some games because your early curve is not strong enough. So I think you're gonna get rushed down. But a lot of the time, if you survive long enough in the game with a decent board presence, you're gonna win because of these Templar Captains. Maybe a little bit big, but otherwise potentially strong. I think let's get Ogremancer out, so when they start playing their secrets, we get 2 2s. Did you see the Paladin Judge and I had yesterday? Unfortunately, no, but I heard people talking about it. How did it go? What were its key characteristics? What was I doing yesterday? I was watching TV with the house, I think. Well, we almost have a good Knight Captain play, but we don't. Oh, you know what we gotta do here? Let's bless. If we're gonna bless, then we're gonna Draconic Studies, right? We're gonna heal in Studies, so we may as well Studies first. Okay, right. I mean, honestly, I could take any of these. Hunter struggles against what, like Onyxia? Alexstrasza might be safer in case we need to heal ourselves. I often take Alexstrasza in these situations. They have Deadly Shot, that'll be good for them. Get rid of that. Actually, Deadly Shot summons a 2/2 and then it might miss, right? Og? Its key characteristics were murdering opponents. Paladin can be pretty fun right now. Alright, well this is gonna be a freezing trap, right? Clearly. Fine, I don't care. I guess of the 2, I'd rather freezing the 6/6. Then you can use it again. 3 12-win Paladins in a row. Oh my god. Quality with double bunk. That's a nice combo. Oh, the Commander too. Yeah, quality might be okay right now, huh? With like all these little pings and stuff. Bridge is the part. Bridge is the card that really tilts me. I was expecting Templar Captain and Brasswing to be the tilters, but it's when I get hit with Hold the Bridge, that's when I'm like, ah. Ooh. I think we do this. It's gonna be another freezing trap. I know it. How about this, y'all? This is pretty good. Geode unnecessary. It's not like we need to give this extra attack. It's already got 9 attack. Yeah, no, I agree, Zeppardu. I don't think you pass Templar Captain for early curve, but there's a lot of other stuff that you might pass. And sometimes you just aren't offered it at all. Quality of opponents we were beating and how badly they were losing was insane. What do you think is the class right now, Veritas? After having had a lot of experience in this meta, as we all have, what do you think is the class that would be the most powerful high roll of all? Ever. No, not ever. In this particular meta. That's an Entomb target. Sorry, Hunter. But, that's mine now. Heal this again. Yeah! I figured. Oh, 2 wins away from 12, though. Redeeming Priest?
El sueño del mar gira sin parar. Viento a viento va durmiendo el sol. Un guiño de luz se perdió. Tu cuerpo se hace vientre, estatua transparente. En la arena oscura esperarás. Viento a viento va bailando el mar. Esta sola voz se quebró.
Probably Priest if they hit all the right stuff. I feel like I learned that in game 2 of this run when we faced that one Priest that even blasted us through our Deathwing. Crazy. If you have all the right components in Priest and you manage to structure your deck in a way that they don't get clogged up in your hand, I guess I probably agree with that. Kasab thinks must be Shaman. I don't know, you can outlast Shaman. Shaman has what, Tidal Wave and Snowfall? Those don't really generate additional value. They're just pretty good tempo. The thing about Priest is, you halt your opponent's momentum and you generate shit. So like, you can win the tempo game and the value game. Trying to jam as many runs as possible to finish this 30 on EU before rotation. How you doing? How's it going? Managing to keep up a certain quality of average? Rouge has a lot of add other class cards so they can get some crazy combos. True. True. A bit more of a scattered class though. Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide would be a crucial component, I think. If it's about value, then isn't it Mage with its million discovers? Well, it's about value and tempo both, right? But I think Priest still outpaces it, right? Overall. As Priest also has a million discovers. I know how many dragons are in the discover pool? Well, that answer is gonna go up in a few days by a lot. Right now, I have no idea. Like how many dragons are in the meta right now total? Like 10? Dozen? A dozen? Maybe? I have no idea. This might be an either or keep. We could probe on one, but I gotta find some curve minions. I think I'll throw the Bless away. It's been really important though, it's won us a lot of games. This deck, more than most decks, has had mulligans that confuse me. 'Cause I'm Mr. Tempo, I'm always playing for curve, but with Priest you can't always do that, and it's not always clear the best way to play for curve. Like, do you keep Bless? Is that a curve play? Depends on what else you draw. Let's probe on one. It's a mage, we might find some good stuff. Priest is just more consistent if it has the broken things, yeah. Oh no, the real Neo! Oh no! Get out of here with that fake Neo nonsense. Neo mayonnaise. Mayo Neos. Hey Cosmic Camel! Nice to see you again. Chat, if you haven't followed Cosmic Camel, I recommend it. Because the Camel himself is running an arena event later this month. I saw you were posting about it today in the Discord, Cosmic. I haven't looked at the messages, but I will. In fact, let me make a note of that as well. Welcome back, Cosmic and company. Cosmic Raid, let's go! We've been having real talk here, Cosmic. Real talk. It's a tournament. I got a license from Blizzard for it. Wait, really? Like, actually? I'm curious to hear more about that. Like, why you had to do that and what that entails. So are the best shamans ones. What about Hunter? No cap. Like, what about Hunter? Probably the best priest decks can mess up the best hunter decks, but what if it's just a hunter that is better at Smork than anything? I'm annoyed that this is the spell we got from them, because it's not a particularly good spell, but we play it here. They might coin out, like, a Steward. Steward would be a good hit for this. Yeah, please, everyone who wants to participate in this tournament, go to that link. The more the merrier. There's a prize pool. It's a community event. A whole Discord set up for it. Lots of exciting things. Let dose of coffee win? Well, oh, he needs it after narrowly missing the last first place, maybe. Is that what you're saying? Dose of coffee's had enough winning. I still don't actually know what the exact results were of the Kai event. He posted tentative results a while ago, and I hadn't heard back after that. Also, what do we play here? Do we just... Conic Studies and pass? Do we Holy Nova? Seems like a bad Holy Nova board. Studies. Oh, a terrible, terrible Draconic Studies, but we can at least play a curve card. So maybe it actually works out for us. Organize your own community esports competition. Interesting. Yeah, it just never occurred to me that that would be part of the process. I'll have to keep that in mind in case I ever want to organize anything. They fishied and traded. That's fine. They jack their 1-1. Heh, you'll never get that back. Kappa. It's a shame our Hothead didn't live so we could Dragon Slayer it. Why not use the free hero power? Because the free hero power freezes, so it's more valuable to freeze a minion than to just clear a minion. Unless I miss my mark. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. They got it with Tour Guide. I thought they got it with the 2-3, but it was Arcanologist that they played. No, I'm wrong. Don't mind me. In that case, I have no answer for you. We set up Etten here, and then Najak whatever big minion they play to get through the Etten. Seems like a good plan to me. Saving it for a Panther? Maybe they also just thought that a future ping for free is more valuable than saving a little bit of stats on the board. Unstoppable force versus a movable object reference? I wasn't, but I basically was, so... A bad feeling about this game. We want to take that 4-4? What's going on with that secret? I guess we could find out, huh? I saw that coming. We take this, our Holy Nova gets better as well. That's incentive. Alright, let's take it. Rush the 1-1 down and go face. Maybe the real Neo is making real mistakes. Or their plays are just so good. It's like they're dodging our bullets and we can't even see them. They're going so fast. I really like the new Matrix movie. Obviously not as good as the original, but I was digging what it was throwing down. Torch, ping. That's what they were saving their free hero power for. It's a lot of effort to get a 4-4 back, though. I kinda don't mind that they had to do that. That's it? Wow. Alright, let's make a big boy, shall we? Chunky. Big Etten. My dad tells a story about my grandpap that when they were kids, and they'd be sitting around the dinner table, eating dinner, as you do at the dinner table. And the phone would ring. And some of you might not know this, but phones used to be attached to the wall with, like, strings. And the strings were really long and they went underground and went to other people's houses, you know? And the phone would ring and my grandpap would get up, answer the phone, and say, "Eaten." Slam it shut. I think I'm dropping frames. Internet? That sounds made up! No, it's true! It's true. Big strings underground, long strings that carried your voice magically from point A to point B. It was a different world back then. Let's do one of these. Now we have many powerful bidders out here. I'm also gonna penance that, because, you know, why not? Protects our big boys. Oh, it's the story about the landlines again, Grandpa Blobby. Hat, you know what they were called. That makes you even grandpa-er. Most of chat are baboomer. You know, I asked chat once what everyone's age was, and it was like a 10-year spread at least. And it didn't seem like there was a dominant answer. It seemed like I was kind of the median, and there were people like 5 or more years younger than me, 5 or more years older than me. Maybe you'd be surprised he was in chat. This kind of sucks. I really like the idea of Reclaimer on here, but that's a future idea. I think we just have to play this. Go face and pray. But you got Mage. Better make a move soon. Yeah, anyone in chat want to share their ages? See what the spread is? I think there's older folks and younger folks and everywhere in between here, which is cool. My daughter didn't know what a phone jack was. Well, that's because everyone they're trying to remove our traditional gender norms. We can't even call them phone jacks anymore. We have to call them phone mixters. I miss the days when a phone Jack and a phone Jill that loved each other very much could fuck raw with no consequence. I've lost the thread of the joke. Anyway. Rip to our Reclaimer play. They took my Jack away! Kids these days are drinking Jill Daniels. It just ain't right. Going too far. A boomer blobby channel point reward? I did a bit like that when I was in high school. Alright, here's another story. I went to a boarding school for high school, and they required that every trimester you do a sport, which made me miserable, because I was miserable at them, and the coaches were miserable to have to deal with me, so I tried to get out of it as much as humanly possible. You know, for everyone's sake. And this is crappy. We just do this and hold the line. Anyway, one of the things I did was rec golf, recreational golf. The only golf that you could do and not go to any competitions. You just walk around the campus and... Yeah, there was a 9-hole golf course on our campus. What? A Lunith? I forgot this card existed. Well, chat, are we ready to fatigue our opponent? A Lunith. Oh my god. So anyway, when it would rain, we would stay inside and watch golf instructional videos instead of play golf. And the video series that we watched were based around this old-ass golfer named Harvey. And he was so old that he could barely talk, but they did, like, interviews with him sometimes, and he'd be, like, rambling, or back in my day, blah, 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 blah. So I would do a character based on that guy, like a rambling old man. I did it for some, like, Christmas show at my school. Crazy Uncle Harvey. I think we entombed this. They have 2 more turns before they start fatiguing, but then they're gonna die fast. Let's bless. Face. Entomb. Heal our face. It's an argument that you save Entomb for, like, a scarier minion, but that minion is pretty damn scary, and if it starts to take some value trades, then their board gets pretty scary too. My girlfriend's father's an avid disc golfer. Disc golf is cool. I don't really like it for me, but I think it's a cool sport. It's a nice way to interact with public property, like parks and stuff. I just watched an episode of What We Do in the Shadows, where the vampires kept calling it Jolf. It's a very good show. Did you remember about the tutu? I guess you did. I'm 24 and I'm being considered as a baboomer. My parents saw me as part of their generation, unlike my brother who's 21. Whoa. You're several generations removed from them. So that's strange. Okay, they're gonna start taking fatigue damage. Which, you know, it just means all we have to do is not take damage. So, do you want to entomb the horde? They're gonna draw two fatigue draws, which means next turn they'll be dead, right? We just have to survive until the end of next turn, right? So... Pop. It's really, it's an interesting play to use this Aluneth. I completely forgot this was even available. It certainly changes the game. It's probably the only way they could have stayed in it, to be fair. I think sports just generally aren't for me. In another universe, Blobby could have been pretty good at sports. I got a good body for certain sports. Good body. Like, I think I could have been really great at tennis. I got a pretty big wingspan. I'm pretty fast over short distances. Pretty solid hand-eye coordination. Alright, well, they put out something scary here, which is 10, 18, 19's worth of damage, but very happy to draw Excavated Evil. Because I'm pretty sure that's GG. They're not gonna be able to kill us from here. The only thing that they can do to thwart us would be some sort of, like, shuffle stuff into your deck thing here. So play it? No, you play it. Sports make you live longer? Yeah, so does not eating pizza, but you won't see me not eating pizza. Not eating pizza's for scrubs. I come from a sports family, actually. My dad's a sportscaster. So we're both broadcasters. That runs in the family. Looking for a healing spell? That's hilarious. Cock your own minion. Ooh. Oh my god, so funny. I liked that match. That was fun. That was fun. It makes sense, right? Drafting an Aluneth with their deck. They never run out of resources. They draw into Fireball for lethal. Makes sense. Final boss, y'all! You know what gets to be golden if we win this fight. Eating a pizza a day, less good. Less good than what? Not eating a pizza a day? Huh. I would firmly disagree. Full team Reclaimer now, best card in the game. I think I'm teaching y'all a little thing or two about our wretched friend. We gotta really batten down the hatches to win this game. We're facing Shaman, which is scary. I got a tickle in my throat, tears in my eyes. It's all very dramatic. Alright. What? Deathwing is acceptable. I really don't mind Aegon too. Set up for future... Oh, we might Dead Ringer though. We could do Egg anytime. We'll get the Dead Ringer out now. Make our hand more flexible. Oh yeah, we'll play that. Not the death rattle I wanted, but we'll play it. Hooah! Here I am! I was hiding. Hey Taze and company, thanks for the raid, I appreciate it very much. You're here for the final boss. That's exciting, right? I'm excited. This priest went from 3 and 2 to 11 and 2, so that's cool. And we're really hoping to win this game so that we can make our Wretched Reclaimer golden, because this card, Wretched Reclaimer, has been so good this run. Let me give a shout out to Taze. Cool arena dude. Go give him a follow if you haven't already. Also, we just got to 1,000 followers today, so very exciting day for the Blobster. And you all are a part of it. We could draw Knight Captain, that'd be cool. Oh no! The Wind Fury. Okay, well, kill that. I think I'm gonna make a 2-5. So it's harder for them to... Harder for them to HK. Now, what they can do is Knight Captain, which... Ooh, ouch. Oh, ouch. Yeah, I've been streaming for a little while. But it's okay. Long day today. Undying Disciple is gonna help us a lot. I just don't know what to do this turn. How about Egg, Delinquent, Hit, Heal? They can get an honorable kill here if they want to, but I'm very likely gonna Holy Nova next turn. Good game all around, nicely done. What are you saying? I just entered a single player game and the opponent is the only player? I'm not gonna argue with you, but if anyone can beat Wildpaw, it's Priest. Cheers, Taze. Have a good and relaxing rest of your day. Appreciate the raid and have a really nice Sunday. I don't know, chat, do you think it's hopeless? Do you think it's just GG now? Sir YOLO Swaggins believes. I think it's time for the Disciple. I really wanted to wait until all their freezes were out. It's never hopeless, but Wildpaw makes me hopeless. True. We could just be annoying and use Najak to delay them. I don't think I like that, though. Like, you could just take something and let them take it back. I don't think I like that. Yeah, let's do this and keep this stealthed, I think. See how they deal with it. Nova seems okay. True. I'm hoping for a really nice Nova next turn. We might even double Nova if we have to. We do have tools here. We got tools. I'm just hoping we don't have to use too many of them to deal with the Wildpaw, because that Shaman has a thick hand. Thick, nasty hand. I'm curious how they make these trades. Okay, so I see. Annoying, but fine. Hey, Elder 1202. Welcome to the Fun Dungeon. Thanks for the follow, Sir, Madame, and or Mixter. Well, we did it. We cleared the nasty wild paws. Nothing else to do this turn, though, unfortunately. Would have been nice to put down a 4-drop or something. Nova looks a lot better here than last turn. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, Manum. I figured that they would take damage that would leave them vulnerable with our taunt. Getting it! I was gonna use my Knight Captain on the... Oh, we could Najack that. We could also Entomb it. Entomb, heal our egg, and maybe, like, bless it or something. What else? We could actually Deathwing here as well and discard 2 cards. I don't really want to discard 2 cards. We have other ways to deal with this. I don't know, what do you think? A lot of very strong plays here. Shat. Heal egg in case see it. Well, yeah, but that's more of a long-term strategy. I like Entomb. It's probably either Entomb or Najack here. And the Najack gets hurt because of the 7/7, right? So that's not the... Oh, you know what we could do? Najack and bless it. That's an option. I don't think I want to do that, though. I'm just gonna Entomb. That'd be a fine thing to be in our deck as well. Save Entomb, you know they have Snowfalls. We can Najack Snowfalls, because Snowfall freezes their board. Unless they choose not to attack, which they often do. Yeah, now see, that is a Najack target. Also, potentially an Entomb target. Okay. So, yeah. So we take that. Mine. Now, what I'm wondering is... this is tough. Where's Bless gonna want to go? We could put it on the Najack right now to protect it, or we could put it on the taunt later to put 12 damage face. I think it's Captain Egg right now. Save the Bless for when we have more information about what next turn is gonna look like. I like the Captain Egg right now. Because even if they have a spell that... Like, Hex doesn't take care of Najack. If they have a spell, like... I don't know. Let's say they have 2 Lightning Bolts, they kill the Najax, they get the taunt back, and we can either Entomb it, or... I don't know. Something else. The Pally's at 4-0 with ease so far. Very good, congratulations, you're doing great. Yeah, if you don't hit hyper-aggressive decks, I think you're gonna soar with that one. We have done all sorts of nasty things to our egg this run. I love the egg pick in retrospect. Really glad we did that. So we don't have to Entomb that Proto Drake, because it doesn't actually do anything right now. Doesn't threaten anything. Wait, do we have lethal? 6, 9, 10, 22. We do not have lethal. Surprisingly close, though. It's that game. See what's in here. Hmm. Well, let's just wind chill and go face, right? You want to do the 12 damage play now? I was thinking about maybe doing it next turn. Shit, we could do it now, though. Why not? We're gonna freeze everything up, may as well. Oop. They didn't have anything to heal, so that's fine. A board like this, everything they have is frozen. You know, they could come back here, but I'm not really seeing how. If they get it back. If they get it back. What? What are you talking about? Proper nouns, please. Oh, you're saying... Oh, no. Well, we have Entombs and Deathwing, so... Oh, I understand. So don't buff it in case they kill the Najak. No, I understand. Yeah. But we have backup tools to get rid of that if that happens, so... You know, it's obviously bad if it happens, but... As long as you have a contingency plan for such things, you're okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Just got Ivus off of first day of school. Oh my god, I didn't think about that. First day of school might actually be pretty good for that reason. 12 wins, y'all! Let's get some hype in the chat. Hype! Hype! We'll do another draft after this. Might not do a whole run, just so you know. But first, we need to look over our deck, pick an MVP. We've already picked an MVP. We already know what it's gonna be. But we need to look anyway. Draconic didn't come into play that much, and we actually whiffed a few of these. And the one game that we actually played Deathwing, and we lost, so yeah, no. The probes weren't amazing. Bless was a candidate for MVP, for sure. Geode did quite a lot of work. The egg was nice. Tempted to MVP the egg, but we know it has to be the Wretched Reclaimer, right? I want to actually just review real quick. Hexen was amazing as well. I want to review real quick what the Wretched Reclaimer did for us. And Tomb also candidate for MVP, and Undying Disciple. These are all stellar. Wretched Reclaimer killed injured Tulvir and immediately made it into a 2/6 taunt. Wretched Reclaimer killed our egg, summoned another egg, and a 3/4. Wretched Reclaimer multiple times killed a very weak second shell of the Bone Wraith to summon a completely fresh, revivified Bone Wraith. Wretched Reclaimer could have had a really amazing combo with Hexen. We never got to pull that off. I feel like it resummoned maybe an Ogremancer. It did nasty, nasty stuff with Undying Disciple, and it had that incredible play with Troll Centurion where we got to go face and then resummon it and get a trade. So good. IB... Chat, you have to wave to them because they can't hear you. We just went 12B, we did it! Alright, so let's see what our rewards are. Golden the Wretched Reclaimer. And on to the next one. Haven't had a 12 on this server since January 31st. Spark Joy cheat. Chat, does this cheat spark joy? If not, you need to throw it out. But first, thank it for what it's done for you. Always doing great when there's Blobby to watch. Oh, so sweet. Alright, let's golden our fellow. Our wretched, wretched fellow. Also, just a really good name, Wretched Reclaimer. That's evocative. Yeah, I know. Boom. I'm sure. Oh, I've never been more sure of anything in my life! I don't think I've looked at this card up close before. That dude doesn't have a face.